It was just past 7:30 a.m. when Marcus Bryant walked into Rosie's diner. The bell above the door jingled. A few heads turned. Most turned away. He didn't blame them. His coat was torn at the sleeve. His boots were caked in dry mud. He had the kind of sun-worn face you only get from sleeping outside year-round. The only thing clean on him was the American flag patch sewn neatly onto his backpack. He walked slowly, not from age, he was only in his mid-40s, but from pain, the kind that lives deep in the knees and lower back after too many years carrying gear through sand, rain, and war zones. He sat at the far corner booth like he always did, away from the window, close to the back door. Habit. The waitress didn't come over right away. Her name was Heather. Late 20s, blonde ponytail. She glanced at him, frowned, then leaned over the counter to whisper something to the short-order cook. Marcus kept his eyes down, didn't want trouble. He just wanted coffee, and the eggs over easy special he ordered once a week when he scraped enough change together. He pulled a wrinkled $5 bill from his pocket, set it on the table, waited. 5 minutes passed, then 10. Finally, Heather approached, but not with a notepad. She came with a look. "We're not serving right now," she said curtly. Marcus blinked. "Kitchen's open, I just need—" "It's not a good time," she snapped. "Maybe try the shelter downtown." The words hit harder than a punch. He looked around. Everyone was watching. An old man with a newspaper lowered it. A mother with a toddler scooted her child closer. The cook folded his arms. Marcus nodded slowly, understood, and reached for his money. But Heather stepped back like he'd drawn a weapon. "Don't cause a scene, all right?" He froze. That's when the door opened again. 2 uniformed officers entered. Big guys, mid-30s, full gear, radio buzzing softly at their hips. Heather turned and waved them over like she'd been waiting for them. "That's him," she whispered. The taller cop, badge read Stein, walked over. "Sir, I'm gonna need you to stand up." Marcus raised his hands calmly. "I haven't done anything. Loitering, harassment, causing a disturbance. I came to order breakfast. Then maybe you should have shaved first." That line got a few chuckles from nearby booths. Marcus felt the old, familiar burn rising in his chest, but he kept his voice level. "I served 2 tours, Iraq and Afghanistan. Purple Heart, Bronze Star. I'm not causing trouble." Stein leaned in, eyes cold. "Then you won't mind stepping outside while we check ID." Marcus stood slowly, reached for his bag. One of the cops reached faster. "Keep your hands where I can see 'em." Voices rose. Phones came out. Someone started filming. Heather shouted, "He's threatening people." Marcus froze, hand above his shoulder strap. "I'm not armed." The second cop, badge Nielsen, stepped forward, hand on his taser. "Turn around, now." And that's when Marcus said 7 words that changed everything. He didn't yell. He didn't flinch. He just looked the officer dead in the eyes and said, "You sure you want this on record?" The room went silent. Stein frowned. "What did you say?" Marcus slowly reached into his coat pocket, pulled out an old scratched-up flip phone, dialed a number by memory. It rang once, twice. Then someone answered, and Marcus simply said, "It's happening again. Activate Protocol 73. He clicked the phone shut and stared straight ahead. 5 minutes later, everything would change, and 2 careers would be over. But first, the truth had to come out. At first, nothing happened. Stein and Nielsen looked at each other, confused. A few chuckled under their breath. "What, your lawyer gonna roll up in a limo?" Nielsen sneered. Marcus didn't reply. He just sat down, calm as a monk in a storm. 1 minute passed, then two, then headlights. Bright ones. A sleek matte black SUV rolled up silently outside the diner. It didn't have plates, just a black government tag in the front window. The doors opened. Two men stepped out, black suits, no sunglasses, expressionless. They walked into the diner like they owned it, didn't look left, didn't look right. They walked straight to Marcus. "Mr. Bryant, one of them said. "We apologize for the delay." The diner froze. Heather took a step back. Stein blinked. "What is this?" The agent turned, badge flashing briefly from his jacket. "Federal Office of Military Intel and Protection. You're interfering with a protected veteran under national clearance." "Protected under what?" The second agent stepped forward. "Classified deployment, bronze-level shadow ops, overseas records sealed by Pentagon authority." Heather turned pale. The phone in Stein's hand dropped slightly. Marcus stood up finally. His voice was quiet, even. "These two men attempted to forcibly remove me without cause. You'll find security footage, civilian witness video, and full context from my recording device." He pointed to his old backpack. A light blinked from the buckle. He was recording the whole time. The lead agent turned to the cops. "Badges, now." "What?" "Your badges. Turn them over." Stein stuttered. "You can't." "We can, and we are." He held up a sleek black tablet, tapped twice, and a small digital screen showed their badge numbers, names, and a list of prior complaints. Multiple entries lit up. "Looks like this isn't your first profiling incident," the agent said. "You'll be hearing from Internal Affairs." "And the Justice Department," the other added. The moment shifted. Heather looked like she wanted to disappear. Someone in the back clapped once, then again. A few more joined. In less than 30 seconds, the entire diner was standing. Not for the agents, for Marcus. He turned to Heather. "I was never a threat. I came here to eat, just like everyone else." She didn't answer. She couldn't. The agents nodded. "Mr. Bryant, we'll escort you to a safer location now." But Marcus looked around, then back at his booth. "No." The agents paused. He looked them straight in the eye. "I think I'll stay and have breakfast, if that's all right." And suddenly Heather was moving, faster than anyone had seen her all morning. "Sir, I'll get your order right away." "Coffee?" Marcus nodded. "And eggs, over easy." She was gone before he finished the sentence. The agent stood by the door. The SUV waited outside. And Marcus? He finally picked up the fork in front of him and smiled. Because for the first time in years, someone else had to swallow their shame. The next morning, two headlines ran back to back in the local paper. Two officers suspended amid allegations of profiling. And right below it, "Hero homeless veteran speaks out. I wasn't invisible. They just refused to see me." But none of the papers knew the full story, because Marcus Bryant wasn't just a veteran. He was a shadow. Years earlier, in 2009, Marcus served in a covert detachment under Joint Special Operations Command. The missions? Deep black. Unmarked. No recognition, no medals, no graves. One mission in particular haunted him. Kandahar Province. A humanitarian convoy was ambushed on a dirt road. Hostages, casualties. The team assigned to rescue them never made it. Marcus went in alone, with only a sniper rifle, a comms unit, and a 2-hour window. He picked off 6 enemies, reached the lead vehicle, neutralized the last militant with a close-range sidearm shot, freed 9 civilians, dragged a wounded medic 2 miles back to safety. The report never made national news, but it made the Pentagon's wall of classified valor. Years later, that same file is what triggered Protocol 73, reserved only for former operatives with direct action clearance and post-active risk profiles. It wasn't just a phone call, it was a silent alarm. While Marcus sipped coffee at Rosie's, Internal Affairs reviewed footage from the diner. By Monday, both officers were suspended without pay. By Friday, the state attorney opened a civil rights probe. And Heather? She lost her job when the diner's owner, an Army vet himself, saw the tape. "I served with men like Marcus," he said. "You don't treat heroes like that." Marcus refused interviews, but word got out. A local non-profit stepped in to offer housing. A former general sent a letter of apology. Even the governor made a statement about systemic bias. But Marcus didn't want speeches. He wanted systems to change. He started speaking at town halls, quietly, without blame, without hate, just truth. One night, a teenager raised her hand. "How did you stay calm? I would have screamed." Marcus smiled. "That's how they win. When you lose control, they take your voice. I kept mine. Now I use it." At a rally 3 months later, the mayor read from a plaque. "To Sergeant First Class Marcus D. Bryant, for courage under fire and grace under pressure." He handed Marcus the key to the city. The crowd stood, but Marcus didn't speak. He just looked out over the faces, young, old, black, white, and nodded. Because the point wasn't glory, it was justice. 6 months after the diner incident, Marcus had a roof over his head, not because someone gave it to him, because he earned it. He volunteered at the local shelter, helped veterans fill out job applications, taught self-defense to women who'd survived abuse, never asked for praise. But people noticed, and word spread. A city councilwoman reached out. She wanted to help fund a program. Marcus refused to put his name on anything, but he agreed to sit on the board of a new outreach initiative. VOICE, Veterans Overcoming Injustice Through Community Empowerment. It started with 3 volunteers. Today, it spans 7 cities. Then came the day Marcus didn't expect. A young woman showed up at the outreach center. She was 19, looked nervous, holding a folder. "I think you saved my mother." Marcus blinked. "What?" "Kandahar, 2009. She was a Red Cross worker, the ambush. She doesn't talk about it much. But I saw your photo in the paper. She saw it too." The girl opened the folder. Inside was a picture. A younger Marcus, dust on his face, holding the hand of a woman in a Red Cross vest. "Her name is Adriana." Marcus stared at the photo, then nodded. "I remember her. 2 weeks later, Adriana walked into the center. She didn't say much, just hugged him. They didn't need words. Some wars don't end with gunfire. They end in forgiveness. The next time Marcus went back to Rosie's diner, things were different. Heather wasn't there. The new server was a college kid who greeted him like a regular. Usual today, Marcus smiled. Yeah, eggs. Over easy. He still kept the flip phone, still carried the backpack, still wore the coat, even though the sleeve was stitched now. Not because he couldn't afford new things, but because he never wanted to forget where he'd come from. Marcus didn't raise his voice. He didn't threaten. He didn't fight to be seen. He just stood in his truth. And when the world tried to bury his worth, he made one phone call and uncovered a system. So when they tell you you're nobody, that your service doesn't matter, that your story isn't worth hearing, remember Marcus, because the most powerful sound isn't a scream, it's silence, followed by justice.